Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everybody, and happy September 14th. Let's get this organized here. Hang on real quick. All right, there we go. We should be getting music through the system. That works. My sister is texting me, and that's fine, but I'm in the middle of my show. Some poor dude thinks that I'm a girl. Oh, well. Sorry, dude. I'm not the person you're texting. All right. We're a little behind this morning. Sorry about that. Kind of getting things organized. Still. Oh, man. I had a rough night last night. So, okay, why did you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? Don't do that to me. I need this there. There we go. Don't do that to me. Alrighty. I was going to take a look at Fred's documents and see where we are on this so we can finish this job. Right? So looking in here, I'm going to go ahead and just open this page 91 up. There we go. We're just going to take a look at this and let's get in here and take a look at this and see what we've got. And he wanted to put in something in the background, like, for example, a blimp or an airship of some sort. And I put this in there and then thought, not as big on this as I thought. I mean, I know what he was after. Oh, okay, I'm going to go by a pen here. Technical pen. Get set for white. I know what he was after with the concept that he wants, but honestly, I don't think this is what he wanted. I know that the end result is that we wanted something in the background that indicated, nope, don't touch the horse. Indicated something going on because it's kind of weak up here in the top part. I know that. I get that feeling. So. But let's go on ahead and open one of his other pieces from this so we can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. get an idea of where we're headed. Doing it again. Okay. We can't open it because it hasn't been downloaded. OneDrive has stopped running. Everything has stopped running. So here we are waiting for things to start running again. There we go. So just in case you folks were wondering, I ran a virus check yesterday just in case. And you'll be pleased to know that there isn't a single virus on my computer. So this isn't virus related. I had a feeling there wasn't a virus on my computer, but always should check. There once was a time when you could only pick up viruses by going to really sketchy websites, but recently they've gotten better about non-sketchy websites. Okay. And make sure the OneDrive is running. I just opened this through OneDrive. All right. Well, we may have a problem today, ladies, and gentlemen, and people. Opening up OneDrive and clicking on it, it says, you can't open this file. You have to open OneDrive. So I am having a problem loading anything except for the one thing I have already loaded. So I cannot actually open this file. Because OneDrive, apparently, I guess OneDrive must have crashed. Only I can think of, because OneDrive was open and running. Let's see what we got here. Good morning, Brent. OneDrive has decided to be a pain in the butt this morning. Can't seem to open anything because it needs OneDrive to be running. So I run OneDrive and it says you must open or you must run OneDrive in order to open this. And I think that it's because there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to go out to the OneDrive because I did a whole bunch of recovery from this other hard drive. But I'm having a real problem with OneDrive. So we may be not working on this piece today because I need another piece to be loaded at the same time. So we're going to save it. I'm going to close it. That's all right. We'll get there. All right. Well, let's find out what else we can do. What other kind of damage can we do? Well, we're really having problems when OneDrive's not running, isn't it? There we go. Now we're working. Let's talk about the Polaris, shall we? All right. We can discuss the Polaris. Because really what needs to happen is somewhere along the line I need to actually draw, or I need to design this guy. All right. Alrighty. All of this is a section that's right here, right off this airbase, which isn't an airbase, the space base. Do you call it a space base? Is that what we call these things? Okay. The problem with this city is I oft feel like it's not quite big enough to hold 15 or 20 starships worth of crew up here in the city. I mean, I guess if you think about like some of these buildings over here being all housing, because that's what it says. That's what I was putting here. It's like these are all housing units. These are huge housing units. So usually OneDrive, the only problems I'm having with OneDrive, generally speaking, has something to do with just OneDrive being dorky and weird, like it didn't load. But this is a new issue that I'm having with it, which is it's loaded, but when you click on anything that hasn't been downloaded to your hard drive, it says you need to run OneDrive first. And so it's already running, so I don't know why we're having a problem there. And really, the solution is to restart my machine, but we all know that restarting this machine takes 20 minutes. So that would be, we wouldn't be able to get our show started until 10 o'clock. So I might as well just do something else for a while. So that's sort of, you were on your, and wait a minute, which bike were you on? You're on an exercise bike? Were you on a bicycle bike, or were you on a motorcycle? Because these are the things I wonder about. If you were a southerner, it would be a motorcycle. All right. In here, base buildings. We have a close-up of that. Is that? Yeah. Yeah. Doing the right thing. Like I built all of this city, and then I built this city on rock and roll. Oh. Why is this intersection wonky. What's the story with this intersection? See, like, certain amount of logic fail. I really like this design of Char Saline, but I don't know. I feel like there's not a lot of logical. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's kind of like there's a certain amount of weird logic to it. Weird logic. Okay, we're gonna fix Char Saline. That's what we're gonna do because I actually really kind of like the way that the rivers were the river, the ocean, if you will. Like all your enlisted folk. And there are these like down dangling buildings over here that just drop below the shell out into space. You know, those could be storage for people as well. But we're going to fix some stuff here. We're going to do some fixing here. So let's go ahead and put in a new layer. We're going to work like this. We'll drop that down to 75%. Okay. Because this time we're going to use the straight line tool. But I'm going to go through here and let's get these roads figured out because they're roads. And I feel kind of weird that the roads, the below deckers, the roads don't fit well, right? Like these roads should be pretty seriously figured out and not weird. Like this is weird. I could see it going this way and then branching this way and branching this way and then this way. This makes an interesting intersection, but let's straighten this out. Because this is kind of bizarre, and it really should stop being this strange. Like this intersection should be like this, going this way. That's logical. I just feel like these roads were weirdly designed. I don't mind them being somewhat organic, but they were not lined up. Because this makes much more sense as far as like a road network. If you're wondering where I got this map from, I went to a random city generator, which does really cute little random towns, which is fine. But they're towns from medieval times. And really, the truth is, once you have engineering of any sort, you stop getting really strange town designs. And things start becoming more logical. So we're just going to build the roads real quickly here. And that's going to go into this park. And this goes out to the beach. And just get some of these roads straightened away. Like this just dead ends into the middle of this subdivision. I don't think that's a reasonable one either. Like this, I just go all the way through. Like this. Balloon deckers. This little subdivision over here might have smaller roads, but that'll connect like this, and this will connect like that. And that makes more sense. I mean, some of this can be kind of weirdly illogical because cities are weirdly illogical, but some of these things were just not connecting at all. Why would you do that? So we'll start with this. This section right here is also like really weirdly Parisian in design, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with Parisian cities, except that the city is not old enough to warrant Parisian design. I do like this weirdly six-sided intersections right there. Street like that. I have been to the streets of Paris, and you can totally tell that is a city that is many hundreds of years old because the designs are very strange. And it's like, okay, what were you guys thinking when you did this? That's right, you had horses and carriages, therefore things were not well designed. For cars, that is. Mostly because, as you might imagine, nobody thought there'd be cars. Who thinks cars? I mean, the lines lined up. There we go. Much better. Much more logical. Like, why is this road like this? I guess we've got roads like that all the time. Okay, that's not so bad. Like this guy should be just straight out to the beach. Go to the hospital, then go straight to the beach. Like, right? Why wouldn't you not do that? That's what I do. Now I'm just putting in the city center thing. And another one right here. We're really into these city centers. We come around this corner. There we go. Makes it all along the front there. And honestly, I mean, we kind of think about it. How many people do we need? We know that we talked about this before. We established that the Kittiwake has a few let's see, we said 60 people on board tops, right? So we already sort of establish there is a certain amount of, so I mean, even destroyers are much larger than those corvettes, but I still feel like wouldn't be that many on a destroyer. Still 300 tops. And the big capital ships would only have a few hundred. $500 or so. Just not that many people. Right? So I'm just kind of thinking about this logically. It may actually be that there just aren't that many people aboard these ships. Let's go over here. What needs to happen is this line right here. Coming around. Yeah. I should use the curve tool. Make sure it's set for 10. And go like this. Instead of trying to do all these weird, funky roads that don't go anywhere. Right? Like this road should also probably be curved. And then we'll put an outer curve road here. Wasn't what I really wanted to do. We'll put the curve. Here. And I'll just go through these buildings, and we will come up with new buildings for them. You know what? Let's just do this. There. I feel like we're still. Let's not do that. Let's do this. There. And this guy also probably should just be a curve. Didn't make him a curve, but he should be. Like that. Ooh, righty. We've done most of that section of Charles Lane, which now looks a little bit straighter and much cleaner. Not so weird. Finish this guy right here. Farming roads out here. Now, I intentionally sort of set these farm roads to be weird because farm roads are really strange and like oddly shaped because they're around farming communities. But now that I'm kind of thinking about it, more I'm kind of like, maybe they're not so strangely shaped, which is fine. 10 pixels is the width of a road, which gives us a good feel for a scale of how big Charcelene should be, right? And I take my let's see. $13 meters. So I could probably make the roads 10 meters and make 1 pixel equal 1 meter. Right? That'd be pretty easy. 1 pixel equals 1 meter. Everything's pretty straight. We just don't have quite the same size of vehicles. Maybe they're slightly smaller. Right, so the roads are a little smaller. They're not quite as big as roads in the rest of the municipalities are. And that's okay. This is a little bit more parallel. kind of like that. That's got like a nice curve to it. Make that straightened out. And that goes all along this outside edge. This is a wall. Curve. Through here. And get kind of into this section. We're good. Alrighty. Here's the arena to the marina. Make sure the marina has roads. Connecting it to the rest of the universe. Alright. Let's do some small roads. And I feel like this is going to change how this little subdivision down here looks. And I'll have you all know that I've spent a quality amount of time working in SimCity, so I know exactly how cities are built now. I'm an expert. Just saying. You guys can now call on me anytime you need your city designed, because I got this, man. I got this. Totally got this. I am an expert. Work. Undo. Work, 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 work. I would even call myself totally a civil engineer. I think these are more like just subdivision roads. Like, they're not as dramatic as the larger roads are. So it's not, they're not quite as, massive or whatever. Actually, what I'm just going to do here, I'm going to do a circle. And fill that thing in. Just go in here. Wah, that's a huge brush. Go in here and just clean this. No. Right? Could be golf cart, golf scooter, Suluop, and something paths. Whatever. You know, if you had this filled like this, it's wouldn't be as big of a problem right now. Just take this section off right here, closest to the stadium. Weirdest song ever going in my head right now. A country road going through my head, but I have it in Japanese. I don't know, guys. I think I'm cracking under the pressure. Just saying. Nope. Yeah, like a people mover system of some sort. I'm actually going to make this a curved road. And this one too. Let's go ahead and clean this up. We're going to be in here doing this. Let's do this right. I mean, there may be this is better. The roads that are a little bit more. Now, see, that's a different one, though. Because that is Billy Joel. And Billy Joel, as we all know, is not the same as Queen. Like, that's logical. So this guy's no longer straight into this. I think as a civil engineer, let me pull this out. Go this way and then go. Just straighten this out so that it's coming straight out of this and going this way. And this can go. You could line up, or you don't have to, and then see what happens. I don't know. There we go. This does this exit out? No, it doesn't. It doesn't exit out into the city circle. So this is Subdivision Street. So make sure that doesn't get into this circle. We'll put a building here when we get back to buildings. There we go. This is looking much more like what I expect the city to look like. And it's still kind of weird, but it's not that weird anymore. Now it looks more like we decided to make this section, whatever. This middle section that needs to be fixed. Straighten out all these lines in this middle section here. Let's decide how we're going to deal with this. So I think we're just going to have a straight line through here, this intersection. Problem is we can't go through the elevator. So we can go to here. You know what? Maybe we should just use a curve for it. Give it like a park effect here. Like a cool sort of C-shaped open park. Just kind of go through that zone. And continue this road to here. And then just burn it across like that. You can still go around. Like through this area. Okay. The road system. So we will duplicate this layer. And we will then tonal correction, reverse gradient. You're like, huh? Yeah, it's a backwards D. Or it could be a C, like Charsoline, which is the name of the city. Then we're going to take... No, we have to outline it first. Say, take the outline. To you. Refer to editing layer only. Apply to connected pixels off. Click there. Now what we have is an outline going for us. Perfect. And what we will do now is we will take an outline selection and we will say in line width 3, and we'll draw on the border, which will put one line through the border, one line on the inside, and one line on the outside, which will increase it to 13 meters, which is the size of a Japanese street. All right, okay. Right? And now we have streets with no name. Now we'll check to see if this looks like this might be too thick. This might be too thick, right? I kind of feel like this is too thick. Maybe we can just do going through the big D and we don't mean Dallas. Okay, well, let's correct our problem here. And then we'll stand up for a break. Let's do 2. See what that looks like. 2 is better. Doesn't look quite as wild. One could argue that we could probably go 1. So let's just do that real quick. Outline selection. Make this 1 pixel. There we go. Then deselect. We have roads. All right, guys. Let's stand up and stretch. Stretch. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't see that. All right. Let's see. We are definitely hammering on something out there. I have no idea what they're hammering on, but I'm sure working hard on it. All right. Get back to work. Right? I like this shirt. One of my favorite shirts. Okay. Now that we've done this, I'm going to go in here and we're going to finish all the other pieces that go with this. So we got a straight line. Let's bring this down to, let's say 2, right? And let's finish all of the edge work here. So where you watch long boat races, it's cool. It's kind of cool. I thought anyway. It goes out. This goes out. And this is a base outside. And these walls now inside the base, whereas before they were just kind of weird. This is an interior military base, but hey, we don't have straight walls. We're just really crooked walls, like all over the place, and we don't know what we're doing. And then this can now be just opened up. Ooh, we don't want to do that. We'll get back to the cleanup of the interior pieces here in a minute, because that clearly isn't what we want to do. Okay. This military base has a runway, which can launch internally or externally, depending on which way you want to go. Some people want to go internal, some people want to go external. It all depends on how you need things, or something. Anyway, yeah. All right. George, get out of the bag. I don't want you in the bag. You know how this goes. Yeah, you should do that. Let's come over here and visit it. You can also like totes visit for the day. Sometimes I get a George visiting. This is a George visit. Yeah, aren't you a good cat? Aren't you a good cat? I don't know why. I'm calling you a good cat when I literally just pulled you out of a bag that you shouldn't be climbing in. He is like fascinated by all the things that happen on my control panel here. The lights that are spinning, all of the things that are moving over here. He thinks these are great. Yeah, so we get our George sighting for the day. George the cat. You are a George. Okay. Take you and go down to about 3 or so. And now we got George hair all over the computer. And we're going to go like this. Go like that. Like this. And go over in that corner. Same thing here. Just do that. This way it's a lot cleaner. And obviously this is like the beach. This is the beach to go to if you want to be at the beach. So oh yeah. George just isn't much of a lap cat these days. And 2 is too small. Weird. So it's hard to get George to do lap catty things. Yeah. I get the concept of chest cat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and fix some of this stuff. I don't understand why it's getting weird about. Oh, I know why it's doing that. Because we got that on. Aha! I left the roads under here in black just in case we ever need to go back to it for some reason. The truth is, we may need that information, or we may not. But at least for the here and now, it's better to have these with the road system undone at the moment. We've already been down through most of these streets prior. I'm going to think them out a little bit more. Kind of work it through this time. Really kind of concentrate on what we're trying to do logically here. This should be a clear retaining wall. That's not what I wanted to do. Clear retaining wall there. This is all retaining all this information and stuff. And then it drops down to here, and that's fine. Because this is at a different level. And we'll do the same thing up here. Clearly some kind of retaining wall. Well, not for this kind of thing here. Same thing here. We'll make this a long retaining wall, which means that I kind of want to pull this road over so that it's less involved in this mess. There we go. And that shows that it kind of goes down into this farming area. Goes up to this raised section. That's sort of this pretty waterfall thing kind of going on right there. Oh, right. technically speaking, all of this is designed kind of like an amusement park for your people, because I mean, this is going to be years that they're going to be deployed. Many years. And the whole point of home ships is to give them sort of something to do in deployment. Mostly so that they won't go stir crazy. Oh my goodness. Alright, so kind of coming along here. Yeah, we screwed up. Okay. Here we go. We're going to just do this beach along here. Nice sandy beach for people to hang out at. I like beachfront property right through here. You know that that's like worth something. There we go. Same thing right here. Just let this open to the beach. Oh, like park. There's parks there on either side. This little section of town is like literally on the beach. Here to here. Just keep traffic going the right direction or exiting, one of the two. But you make that decision. And you straighten out some of these lines. These roads just effectively just end, which is fine. There's houses there, so the idea is that it ends at the houses. This should be forward observation port. Observing how there we go. Nope. All right. And see, that looks a whole mess cleaner than we've had before. You can actually see the dropped down section now. You can see the beaches a little clearer now. Just need to do some of this water reclamation stuff. Get the rest of the water stuff in here. There we go. Much better. So all of that area is raised. Which actually makes this somewhat of a dramatic drive down here, right here. So maybe I should go on ahead and just lock that down. You can't enter into the park that way. But you can enter this way. All right. All of this is on the pumps and stuff like that, which is actually probably good that I'm redoing this map because honestly, those are probably big fluid pumps right under this section right here. So maybe the housing development that's there right now might not find that as entertaining. The water intake coming in here goes underneath it, and a curve comes out over here. All right. Feeling pretty good about this now. Look at that map. It's doing really good here. Yeah, looking at this, I clearly used much more of a straight edge and things like that for these drawings over here. And now I feel kind of bad that I didn't over here. I'm going to have to redo all of this because I was just being stupid. So it's kind of weird, but that's the thing. We'll get over it. I'm over it. You over it? I'm over it. We're good. Do this. go ahead and actually take it across. So there we go. Now we've got kind of this section up here, part of the water reclamation system. There we go. Just like that. All right, we'll go from here to here. We'll bring this out. Wasn't what I wanted to do. Undo. Go from here to here and bring this out. That's what I wanted to do. I see you causing trouble, George. Don't think I don't see it. I see your little tail, goober. Troublemaker. Trouble too. He is good at it. He exceeds at trouble. There we go. This is hard. Let's get this base section out here. This little weird industrial section. I'm locking in all the pieces now that clearly have connection to the outside of the dome. Making sure they're all connected. I'll put a dome underneath it at some point to indicate, but at the moment, that's not the plan. Give them sort of an exterior shell launch. And launch these little fighters outward too. Although usually, if we are dealing with some kind of interceptor action, which requires the defense force, you're probably not launching the defense fighters. They're probably relying more on things like the kittiwake to go out there and do that kind of conflict resolution. But it is always good to be prepared just in case. And so there's no reason not to have it set up such where your fighters can go either direction. I think we've sealed up all of Charcelene. Now let's take a look at this. Much better. That looks much more like a city map that could be reasonable. All right, if you take the polygon tool and we have it open like this, and we say its brush size is, say, 2. The thing about the polygon tool that's cool is that you can do stuff like this, right? So that's kind of cool. It allows us to park stuff a little bit easier. That said, things are now just complicated. Didn't help any. Oh well. We can at least make some of these buildings look interesting and different. Because here in this center quadrant is going to be a number of buildings that are sky rises. You know, something super tall. So we'll start there. Start with what's in the center section of this zone. First things first. Yep, that didn't help me. Undo. That is the center elevator. What could be cool is if the center elevator was effectively buildings, right? Because then you have just inside that center core, just buildings going all the way, windows all the way up. And the center core is for moving things up and down. So they've got an open area, which is open all the way through to the bottom of Charcelene. All the way through Charcelene and through to the Polaris as well. truly, these are going to be the center skyscrapers. Let's sit in the middle. Charceline. I think I came up with a better name than Charceline. That's all right. Okay. Oh. There, that'll give some definition to what's going on in the downtown district. The buildings will look unique. They'll look different. And we will build this downtown district next. Because you want to see this from over here, which is where everybody lives, for our story. Our heroes all live in this little subdivision right over here. So since that's the case, we want to be able to see downtown from this point of view. So they're going to be like shopping district malls here, or maybe medium-sized buildings. Housing districts, I think is what I call that. Housing districts here, then through here is like a shopping district and stuff like that. But here is the downtown area. There will be a lot of things going on in the downtown area. So you want to be able to see the downtown area from here. These huge skyscraper sort of buildings. There we go. Make these weird looking buildings downtown. Interesting looking building. Things are weird. It works. I intend to spend, really, I intend to spend many years in this world. So I'm okay with the extra time we're taking on it. I have included almost every idea or concept I have ever had as far as stories go into this so that I don't have to leave for a while. I don't feel like I need to leave this universe. But it also means that I really do want to spend some quality time making sure the world is straight and exactly the way I want it to be. Yeah. Super high-rise buildings. All right. Now we look at this from here. We can now start to see the super high-rise buildings. They look good. They look solid. Good. Okay. So that's the downtown district. Down to 3 for all the other buildings in this place who are not, in fact, super high, tall buildings of doom. Military Operations Center. We'll just kind of put in this guy. Nope. Line up the runway. There we go. And to be fair, some people could live at the barracks. There have to be barracks over here somewhere. Well, All right. I like the hospital district the way it was, but I want to give it a little bit more shape. I don't know if my characters will ever be in the hospital, but if they do, if they are, this is where they'll be. This would be the surgery and trauma center as well, though. I mean, so like you get really messed up on the way back in. You might just be put in stasis. Until we can figure out what to do with you. Okay. So we've already decided that 1 pixel is a meter, right? So now we've got to kind of decide, how do we get the ability to see what 100 meters looks like? Right, so this is 100 meters. Bork. It still fits in there. That'll definitely fit in the field. I mean, I don't see any problem with it. I find it also kind of interesting that I wasn't far off on the field, you know? Like, it's pretty close to 100 meters. It's kind of cool. Now we can just take and put it down. There we go. 100-meter ball field of some sort. I don't know what this ball field does. We'll have to figure it out. Somewhere along the line, we will figure out what sports we play in the future. And what are the rules? I feel like that's an important thing to do. Right? Why does it go that way? No one really knows. But there is apparently a thing about the crooked lines. So there's a crooked line. Okay, we've hit 11 o'clock, which means that we are very close to the edge of the show here. I'm going to keep going for just a minute longer. We kind of have interest in this. This stadium must be interestingly shaped. We will find out when we have to build it. Dang it. Okay. That. Undo. That. 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 This one's like that. This one's like that. This one's like that. And this one's like that. Huh. There we go. Stadium. Be somewhat Mile High Stadium-ish in that it's got kind of these open areas on the ends. Still a weird, like, bizarre design. I like it a lot. It works. All right. Work. It's always fun working on maps for me. I enjoy this quite a bit. It's very relaxing and very calming. And I also think up stories like what's going on in the stadium. Anybody know? We've got to figure that out somewhere along the line. Anyway, so we're done for the day. I will see you tomorrow. I have no earthly idea if we will have anybody with us tomorrow or not. We'll see. But until then, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye bye. Computer, good night.